mythology, the story of Pandora. Zeus was angry and ordered the creation of Pandora to use as a weapon. Historians described her as evil hidden in beauty. Yes, Pandora was beautiful, but inside she was artificial, a lifelike android sent to Earth to punish humans for discovering fire. Humans would be punished with Zeus's wrath for their dangerous discoveries. The idea of a beautiful cyborg coming from another universe to punish humanity has been engraved into various cultures throughout the world, from ancient allegories to sci-fi books to the big screen.
Stop. Ava, I said stop. Whoa, 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 whoa.
But what if the digital revolution is really a war that we're losing, a war that we opened up and can't put back in the box? Look around at the dinner tables in the country. Families and friends aren't talking to each other. They're silently hunchbacked over their phones. You go to a concert. Instead of enjoying the moment, everyone's fussing to record it. When you glance at your phone, what do you see? Scroll, scroll, scroll. You see friends you rarely see, and you'll see strangers you'll never know. They call it your feed, and it feels like a feeding tube into the lifeless body that doesn't move. They say you're hooked on your feed, but these are just images. They're not really there. It's cars, cooking, sports, beauty, money. The scroll addicts you to inaction. You hold your breath. Ding, you get a text. It's like Pavlov's dog. Mouth starts watering. Who is it? That's just Johnny. What does he want? After staring at your phone, you feel sick. You know the feeling? Your eyes feel a little damaged. Your chest feels tight. Your shoulder feels sore. Your spine aches from tech neck. Now give that phone and feed it to a teen. Remember when you were a teen? You were a mess, vulnerable, didn't know what you thought. That phone's a weapon, and we're getting hurt. So what are we going to do about it? Well, the politicians have a little game they play called Embarrass the Billionaire.
Mr. Zuckerberg, you and the companies before us, I know you don't mean it to be so, but you have blood on your hands. You have a product. You have a product that's killing people. When we had cigarettes killing people, we did some about it, maybe not enough. You're going to talk about guns, we have the ATF. Nothing here. There's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. You can't be sued.
Now, Primetime isn't advocating banning Instagram, cigarettes, or guns. We don't do that here. But I need to know exactly what's for sale, because the product is being used to sell you.
It appears that you're trying to be the premier sex trafficking site.
Of course not, Senator.
In this country.
Senator, that's ridiculous.
No,
Senator,
it is not ridiculous. You want to turn around and tell these people
we don't want this content on our platforms. And
why don't you take it down?
We do take it down.
We are here discussing.
We need you all
to work with us. No, you're not. You are not.
Now, senators only get about 7 minutes each. So hearings descend into chaos and witnesses rope-a-dope until the bell rings. Both sides actually enjoy these parameters. Senators raise money off the feisty video clips, and witnesses stay disciplined, take a beating, and then reveal very little and leave out of D.C. same day. But it's critical to hear what these powerful men have done. Listen.
These results may contain images of child sexual abuse. And then you gave users two choices. Get resources or see results anyway. Mr. Zuckerberg, what the hell were you thinking?
It's often helpful to, rather than just blocking it, to help direct them towards something that that could be helpful for getting them to get help.
What did you do next when someone clicked, you may be getting child sexual abuse images, and they click see results anyway? What was your next step?
Senator, we take down anything that we think is sexual abuse material on the service.
Did you report the people who wanted it?
Senator, do you want me to answer your question?
Yeah, I want you.
All right, so Zuckerberg gives you an option to view child sex abuse. But we never really got an answer to that. Does Zuckerberg know his products are damaging us but hides the evidence?
37% of teenage girls between 13 and 15 were exposed to unwanted nudity in a week on Instagram. You knew about it. Who did you fire?
Senator, this is why we're building all
Who
these
did you
different
fire?
tools. Senator, I don't think that's.
Who did you fire?
I'm not going to answer that.
Because you didn't fire anybody, right? You didn't take any significant
I don't think
action.
it's appropriate to talk about like individual
It's not appropriate.
HR decisions.
Do you know who's sitting behind you? You've got families from across the nation whose children are either severely harmed or gone, and you don't think it's appropriate?
Now, an apology was in order.
There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry.
Forced apologies, better than no apology at all. Now, it wasn't that long ago that cars didn't have seatbelts, remember? Detroit knew this was dangerous and had to be forced to include them in every car that rolled off their assembly lines. Congress hasn't forced Zuckerberg to do anything. He's been showing up to these hearings for years.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake.
There's certainly a lot of problems that we're handling now and addressing proactively now.
At last month's hearing, I spoke about the role internet platforms play. We're ready to work with you to move beyond hearings and get started on real reform.
Same story, different day, and the politicians know it.
I've been here 7 years, and so far, all I've seen us do is run around, going to hearings, issuing press releases, talking about the issue. And we've yet to really pass a privacy bill. We've done a little bit on child exploitation, but we need to do more.
Now, why would we think Washington could clean up big tech when they can't even clean up the city they live in? Washington let an international sex trafficker, Jeff Epstein, wreak havoc for years at the highest level. You think Washington's going to sanitize social media? Pedophiles get into Facebook just as easy as migrants get into the country. Don't expect salesmen and politicians to enforce the rules that they wrote to be broken. Meta and 6 other tech stocks are the only companies right now keeping the stock market up. The Magnificent Seven. Washington's not allowed to go near these guys. DC's layered with brigades of tech lobbyists. Donations, golf junkets, no-show jobs for politicians' wives. And when the politician or FBI agent leaves Washington, big tech has jobs for him. The FBI and Facebook suppressed the vote the last election. No one paid a price. Chuck Schumer's daughters are working in lobbying for Facebook and Amazon. It's a revolving door of patronage, which is why they roll their eyes at the Hunter Biden thing. That's the business model. Everybody does it. They win, you lose. So don't let Zuckerberg be your dad. Wake up and unshackle yourself from tech addiction. Don't rely on the government and a CEO.